Welcome everyone to this session about drawing a food forest on an iPad in 20 minutes. So I will tell you the truth, we will not really draw a full food forest because it requires a bit more time, but I will show you enough so that you will be excited or not about doing that at home. Well, maybe you have a touch device already like an iPad, an Android, a Chrome OS or a Windows touch device, and you will find an app called Concepts on your App Store, and this app Concepts is really nice. This is what we will use today to draw a few things together, and so I will show it to you, and I really love that. I use that when I'm at home drawing. I also have notebooks to sketch things that I think about and to take notes, of course. But when I go visiting a place, I also have some stuff with me that I would like to show you. So before we draw, we have we have enough information about what we will design. And I take my phone with me, of course, but this is also to record my walk. And as we walk, this is recorded, and then I have a map of where we walked. And this is useful when I start drawing to have this layer, this map of the walk, because this might become the future pathways sometimes. So I find it quite useful. I have a microphone with me to record everything people are saying, because I love listening to that when I go back home and I start designing. Then I can listen again to what people were actually saying. That's really nice. And well, I also have a drone with me, and if you don't have a drone, that's not really that's okay. You can just have a friend with a drone. You provide him or her like beer or chocolate or food from the food forest, apple juice, and he or she will provide you fantastic pictures of the sky. And these are the kind of pictures that I really love to have when I start drawing, because again, this will be a layer behind the drawing, and it is really helpful. We have way more details than on satellite imagery. So, well, I take all of that with me. And I also take my tablet. It's currently filming us, so I cannot show it to you. But with my tablet, I will take pictures, I will record videos, I will check where the sun is going with an app called Sunseeker. So that's really useful to do that with only one device that I can also use to measure things. It works quite well. And then I go back home and I start drawing. And I will just show you in 15 minutes how to do that using this app called Concepts. So let's go, let's draw. So for drawing, we will use this device. This is an iPad Pro. We will then go into Concepts, the app that we will use, and we have an Apple Pencil. And this kind of device exists for any touch device on the market, so I would really recommend having one. This is way easier to draw with that instead of your drawing with your finger, of course. And this kind of devices can be bought on second-hand markets. You don't really need a new one. You can really buy one from a few years ago, and it will be way more than enough for what we will draw together. So let's dive into concepts now. We will not see the iPad anymore, and I will explain what I am actually doing during this session. Let's go. Okay, so we are in concepts now, and we will start by defining the artboard size, and because we want to print that later. So concepts know about many different formats. We will select A series and A2, which is the format of our design, and this is what we would like to print later. So let's have an A2 one, and then let's import the drone picture that we have. This is the place that we will design, and we have this car here, and we know this car length, and we will use that to set the drawing scale. Look at this. We will just use the measure and guide tools to say, oh, this is 35 millimeters on the paper, but we know it's actually 478 centimeters. That's the length of the car, and that we know. And so we say 35 millimeter on the drawing, it's actually 478 centimeters. So once this is done, everything we will draw can be measured, which is really cool, really cool for us. So let's add a compass rows and scale on the map that we will use. Later it will be useful when we print it, and we know where the north and south are, so that's quite useful for us. Okay, and then we will just reduce opacity for this picture so that we can start drawing on top of this picture. Let's do that. Okay, so it's reduced to 50%, and then what we will draw will be on top of it. It will be easier to see, but we still see the picture, so that's useful. And let's draw the road first. The road. Okay, nice. I'm drawing the road. And I will also draw the building. We have a very old farm here, and we don't really need to draw that perfectly, so I will just draw straight lines and using the wire tool, but with 100% smoothness, which means that we have straight lines and it's easier to do. I also use the snap option on the top left, which means that when I touch another line, it will just go close to this one. So okay, we have this, and you see the drawing is finishing with the blue line, and so the part below is not something that we will have on the drawing, so we don't need to draw the building below this blue line. Okay, that's enough for us. Let's go back outdoors. And we will draw paths now. We will define a width for this path of 150 centimeter wide. Okay, and let's draw something. And you know, because we've set the drawing scale, that's really something of 150 centimeter on this location. I mean, so that's really useful. And now let's draw secondary paths with paths of 80 centimeter. Let's draw one just below and another one in the middle. Cool. And now I will use the fill tool to draw a pond. Because that's always useful to have a pond, you know. So let's have one here, and let's draw the canopy. So we have many different trees here. I would just hide the pathway because this is easier to draw without the pathway on top of it. We have many different trees. They are fantastic, so we don't want to cut them, and we want to keep that as the canopy for the forest garden. So let's draw something using just the wire tool to draw all these trees of many different shapes. So I love doing that because when I have many different trees to draw, I use this tool a lot. This is very nice. And later I will not color them here, but they should be colored based on the real colors that we have. And so I do my best to draw them kind of as they exist. Nice one. Cool. Okay. And let's move to the understory. So I'm not drawing all the canopy trees because we will focus on a very small area today. We only have just, it's a small session, so it's a short session. So if we have a 10-hour session someday, then we could draw the whole design. But you see, this is interesting. I've imported an object, a circle object, because these shapes are available in concepts, and I'm using the measure tool to see their width. So I've just added a circle, and then I just wanted to have a circle of 8 meters wide, and it's super useful. Then I'm doing that for shrubs. I will add a shrub of 5 meters wide and add it just below. Oh yes, there. Another one. And this tool, just using this measure tool and the option is really super nice. Let's add a few more ones here. Yes, these will be berries there. Great. And then let's add a few herbs, which will be smaller. So I'm drawing these circles, but I actually have, when I'm doing that, I actually have a list of plants that I would like to have on this location. And then I see, okay, this is a plant I would like to have. Well, where will it go? How many of them I will have? And I add them as circles on the map, which is, it's not really a map, it's we have this picture, which is really useful. And then once I'm done with adding all these circles, I will start drawing. Drawing like the best I can. This is a fruit tree with small fruits. That's great. Might be apples. And we have a shrub here looking like this. Okay, nice. Let's draw another shrub. Show the pathways. So we can always hide or show layers based on what we need. So that's really useful to use layers and to draw, especially for us with the nose. We know about layers, so we reproduce that in concepts to have one layer inside the app for each forest garden layers, but also for the pathways, for the roads, for the fences, for all the elements that we will have, so that we can hide them don't want to have them on the drawing. And let's continue with drawing a few more herbs. Oh, this is a very nice flower, so beautiful. A few more ones, we are almost done with the drawing here. And I'm using my my fingers to change the point of view, to turn the drawing, so I'm not moving my tablets. I'm using the pencil and my fingers. My fingers are used to move and the pencil is used to draw. Moving again. And sometimes when I stop, it's because I think. It can also happen. And here let's draw berries. A few berries, and this is the color wheel. I love that. And I will start coloring trees. So I've selected the green, which should be kind of the same green that we actually have for this plant. Maybe a bit too flashy, I would say. And then another one with another green. So we have many different options for colors. Let's draw this one. It will be below the fruit tree, so now I will color the fruit tree on top of it. So I start by coloring, I've not done that, but I should start with coloring herbs, then I color shrubs, and then I color the understory trees. And I will reduce its width so I can actually also draw some fruits. Boom, 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 pom, pom, pom. Apple, apple, apple. And then, okay, this, yeah, we start having something here, and we also draw a few more fruits. And let's also color herbs that we have here. And let's hide the drawing picture. So now we have really a drawing, and each dot here is 1 meter. So we have squares of 1 meter square, which also can be useful when we print this kind of image to know where we have to plant the trees. And let's draw a vine also, of course. We have a vine in this fruit tree. Let's color it so it will be a color a bit different than the tree. So I can select, yeah, I can pick a color that I already have here. And now I'm drawing the vine. We don't see it that much, but it's different green. And I also want to add fruits on the vine. So let's add a few big fruits. Okay, and then it's all about reproducing that everywhere. And we can then export that. I often export as PNG file. You see that we can export the grid or not. I will not do that here. And we can set the pixels per inch, which are also useful based on if you want to print them or just have it on the screen. And we can save this image or export that by email or do anything else with it. Oh, you are here. We are done. So we have designed a full food forest. Not really. Well, but just in 15 minutes we have seen everything we should know about concepts to start designing. And really, even if you don't like really drawing, because we are drawing trees and coloring them, but most of the time I will find people saying, yeah, I cannot draw and I don't want to do that on an iPad or so. But just using the drawing scale feature and with the car, and that we use the length of the car to set the global drawing scale, and then we know when we import a circle, we know it's white. That's fantastic. That's really what I love about this tool. It's that when I select the plants and I know what they will look like on the map with this feature, that's perfect. Then I actually have many different circles on my drawing, but it's not drawn yet, and the design is actually done. Then it's just about doing something that is beautiful. So I hope that you have been excited by this and by the fact that we actually love to design these places and to create these new ecosystems. And I'm pretty sure we'll have a fantastic and mind-blowing week, so enjoy it and feel free to reach me out if you want to talk about that. I would be so happy to interact with you about this topic of drawing food forests. Bye bye!